On the November 2nd, is it?
Yes.
November 2nd, Planning Commission work session to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
October.
Huh?
October.
Okay, October.
We missed October.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mr. Becker?
Here.
Mr. Parker is absent. Mr. Carnahan?
Here.
Mr. Hunley? Ms. Dessauer is absent. Mr. Wolkeny?
Here.
Mr. Kapora?
Present.
Mr. Oliphant is absent. Mr. Austin? Mr. Bungie?
Present.
Mr. Kubiak?
Here.
Ms. Ida is present.
Mr. Kapora,
Yes.
I would like to ask our attorney a question before we start discussing any of our business.
Go right ahead.
Mr. Austin, with our problems with IDEM and the meeting, I don't know if, Jeff, you want to maybe kind of tell a little bit about what happened, but I'm concerned about us approving anything because of IDEM not wanting to approve NOI permits.
Well, Bob, as you know, and plan commissioners and folks in the audience, the town received notification of issues with the water utility of the town August 8th. Comprehensive letter report to us based upon physical inspections actually made by IDEM staff and representatives. What they discovered in the course of reviewing records and going on properties and looking for locations and the like, is that there were approximately 12 points of contact for a well drilling that had not received proper vetting or permitting, and as such, explained some of the circumstances that were found pertaining to water supply and volume. That was quite a surprise to us, as you can imagine. The report was very objective in describing the process of not fulfilling the complete documentation that was contemplated by an NOI permit. NOI is Notice of Intent, an Indiana Administrative Code methodology of utility service extension and connection, so commonly known as NOI. Those
Notice of intent.
That's right, I'm sorry about that. Good catch. Those findings meant to IDEM that we had some explaining to do about the processing of those permits. The processing will begin immediately, but we were unaware at a town level of the circumstances that were left with the incomplete processing of NOI permit data, documentation, and information. The process for those permits includes the delivery to the town of a signed permit application by the property owner developer, the checkoff of same by the professional of that developer or property owner entity, and a checkoff by town's proper personnel. Some of that occurred, some of it didn't, but what was discovered was that there was a large number of those wells and extensions constructed without one, permit application being received, and two, without complete application information. That accounts for the supply issues of water that are on the west side of our town. That was the subject of the bulk of our conversation and meeting with IDEM officials on Wednesday last week. The way that meeting was left was that the town would evaluate all the talking points that occurred and provide a response in kind to the position information that was made to us, and also begin the comprehensive processing planning, study, foundation review, whatever you want to call it, for the correction of that situation. Until that happens, there is commentary in the letter of August 8th that no permits, no further extensions are to occur, pending answers being provided. We do not have those answers tonight. We met with them a week ago, and pieces are being put in place for purposes of information to the planners, to the staff, to the citizens, and the applicants.
And it's my understanding that, especially on the west side, we need to increase water, and we need to increase capacity.
Generally speaking, Bob, that's true. There are no specifics about that, however, as we say, that's what the work of the engineers will be and people in the hydrology sections of those firms, et cetera. That'll all be forthcoming. But generally speaking, that's accurate.
And one other thing, on the lakeside property, I believe there's an 8-inch water main in there, and that they said it needs to be a 12, and Don Oliphant said it needed to be a 12.
I think you're talking about the east side, that's the east side issue.
Yeah, that's an east side issue.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's subject of a lot of discussion that we had and are having with that developer property owner, Schillings. They're aware of that circumstance also.
Jeff, anything you want to add to it?
No, I think that was pretty clear and succinct as far as my interpretation of what went on.
I just want everybody to know that we're trying to be as open as we can about what we're dealing with. We're dealing with, to me, the worst problems I've ever dealt with being on the council.
I got one quick question here. Is the way I understood it from listening to the town council last night is that IDEM is not going to issue any permits for NOI. So in other words, we cannot put any water line extensions in.
That's correct.
Does that also mean that if you already have a water line running past your vacant lot and you build a house, can you get a permit to build there and tap into that? Or is IDEM saying no?
IDEM saying no to everything at this point, pending our report response, their evaluation, and our planned development of the remedy and remedial action.
So if I wanted to build a house and I got water running right in front of me, I could not get a permit to build it.
I would say that's accurate, and let me add one more thing to the reason for that. With NOIs, we learned, and we had a real incredible quality meeting in Indianapolis, but they gave us their view of what NOI is about. NOIs are permit approvals, of course, but they're part of a planning methodology. That planning methodology is so that circumstances like this don't occur. When the data is reviewed as required and they can verify the water source, volume, and quantity, then the planning has worked and the NOI would be issued and the extension would be permitted to proceed. So it's all part of a process and pretty systematic. Given how we talk about it, they viewed it as essential. And when you look at the map, and we don't have the map for the screen, but when you look at the map, it is a significant cluster of wells and water extensions. They're very, very close. It probably would have raised eyeballs had all of that data been provided in support of the application and petition. Now our job is to show that it is right and that we can proceed while we're still developing the plans for remedial measures and resumption of community growth.
We've got that safe storage that wanted to put a pipeline in, and they weren't going to tap into any water.
Right.
Can that proceed or not?
My opinion, no.
No.
No. If there's an official up there that wants, this would be my final you want to sign the NOI permit as town representative, I don't advise you to do it, but if you do it, please know that if it's wrong, if it's inaccurate, if it's fraudulent, if it's just false, it's penal and can result in penalties, fines, and even imprisonment. So when you read the NOI permit application, you'll see all of that. You don't need to wonder if the attorney's telling you the truth or not. It's on the face of those documents and are available for your consumption. That's why I would not advise any movement beyond where the NOI is right now, at least for the short term.
Dr. Carnahan is in the house. All right, we all set on that, Bob? All right, let's move on. Old business, number 1, Bank Shack Bar and Grill, preliminary plat, owner Joe Lopez, 3205 Glenwood Dyer Road, Linwood, Illinois, 60411. Petitioner Adam McAlpine, 3980, 398 East, 400 North, Valparaiso, Indiana, 46383, vicinity of 8120 Lakeshore Drive, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Petitioner is representing preliminary plat for bar and restaurant renovation projects to include new parking lot, perimeter sidewalk, storm sewer system, and landscaping. Good evening.
Joe Lopez, 3285 Glenwood Dyer Road, Glenwood, Illinois, 60411.
Adam McAlpine, 398 East, 400 North, Valparaiso, Indiana. And we're here back before you for this work session. The plans have been resubmitted to Don Oliphant for his review. I have not yet heard back.
Don's not here tonight, but he did forward a short synopsis of what's going on tonight. And he has, under number 1, which are you guys, I received a resubmittal from Adam right before I left, so I will review next week in hopes it will be ready for the public meeting. It will be tight because there were a lot of items to address. I noticed one thing that was brought up was the lighting. Have you addressed the lighting? Because the lighting is improper for the area next to the 2 residents there.
Right, so per the town's ordinance, we do have a site lighting and photometrics plan. And the town's lighting ordinance has 2 requirements, and it's not possible to achieve both of them, so we'll be coming to the town for a variance, and I'll try to explain that. What we're going to conform with is not spilling light over onto the neighbors since they're residents, but there's another requirement that's called lighting uniformity ratio, and it's just a matter of how uniform your lighting is on the parking lot. But the lighting consultant informed me that he can achieve one but not the other, just because of how the lighting is oriented. It's just a function of the math and how many foot candles he can achieve, something about average versus the minimum on the light. Either way, that's not the only variance we'll be coming to you with. I mean, there will be lighting in the parking lot. There will be lighting on the building. There will be no lighting that leaves the property, according to this analysis. And the uniformity ratio is what will be coming to the asking for a variance.
Okay, the other question is, the demo, is that as far down as you're going?
Yes. So, when we started demoing, there was 2 roofs on there. So there was when they built the building, it was cinder block, and they had a flat roof on there.
Then they built knee walls above the flat roof, and they put trusses on top of there. So when the fire happened, the flat roof kind of fell in, and there was veneers around the cinder block. So when I started demoing everything, I took the roofs off. I noticed that when we took the veneers off the cinder block, that it was kind of holding the cinder block together. So with the flat roof falling onto the beam, it was pushing pressure on the walls. And I knew it was going to take a lot of work, a lot of tuck pointing and everything, and I just felt that it will waste a lot of time. It's just better to take them off. It's down to the footing where everything's secure, and, you know, I just wanted, you know, I couldn't really tell until we started peeling it.
Understood, discovery.
So, yeah, it's down to the footing and where it's secure.
Tim, you're aware of all this?
Yep, I looked at it, and he's right. I mean, you'd have to fill those cores and brace it and try to fix it, and it just squeeze for what was left, so.
And so as long as they leave the footings in the ground there,
Right, they
they're
got the
okay.
footings and the foundation wall is still intact.
Then
so-
they're okay for the renovation.
They basically, yeah, it was pretty rough to repair, like I said, unsafe, and once the roof was
Sure.
off, it kind of opened up.
Very
It needed to
understood.
be done,
Yeah.
and we did it right away, and everything is good.
Well, I guess we're gonna, have to have some, plans showing how he's gonna put those walls back together and what have you, and I don't know what all Don has in his letter. So, you need to get with him and figure out what's going on there. And I doubt if you'll be ready in 2 weeks for this, as much as I would like to see that, but, it depends on what Don says and how quick you can get him stuff.
There's nothing in the submittal that's related to the architectural drawings of the building. Everything that has been submitted to Don is on the site.
In Don's letter from August 29th, there's 9 items that are not addressed and 19 items that are partially addressed.
That was my report from last month, and I gave it to Don, and now it's being reviewed.
So that's the current letter I have in the packet from him, is August 29th. Or
Right.
revised August 29th, dated August 24th.
Right.
Well, I say that if you get whatever submittals you have to Don, by talking to him, and find out what he needs, and if you've got everything in place, within 2 weeks in time for us, and Don says, yeah, it's a go, we can go ahead and, you know, have a hearing on it, and we'll be more than happy to do it, because I like to get this going. I'm just concerned because it was demoed down to the ground, and I don't know if there's other, items Don needs to look at before you start putting it back together. That's all I'm saying. But I'm all for, let's get it going, you know.
What's your opinion, Tim?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the demo process really has nothing to do with, you know, here. I mean, you guys wanted them to get it cleaned up and get the roof off, and this is just a part of that process. I mean, it needed to happen regardless when he did it, but,
And you told him to go ahead and just...
yeah, I mean, like I said, it was the safety factor, and it was pretty much, I mean, like you said, to repair it was not practical. I mean, it's way easier, gonna be better when it's done to just rebuild the walls and do it right, so.
Yeah,
No problem at all.
I agree with that. I just don't know if Don needs to say something or not.
Yeah, and Don still got his review of the site. I just have one question about the 5 foot. I don't see on this plan that we have here, I know there's a site plan somewhere, but we don't have it, but is that sidewalk along Lake Shore Drive 6 feet or 5 feet, or what is it?
I don't remember offhand.
Oh, okay, because I know that we're working on that other path around the lake, and it showed a 6 foot sidewalk, so I see there's a 5 foot easement, so I would just like to make sure that that's uniform with the new proposed project, that that's at least a 6 foot.
Is that sidewalk gonna run to the curb?
The proposed sidewalk would be from the curb 6 feet to the north, correct?
Right, on the one that town council and I was working on. But this sidewalk here, was that gonna run up to the curb, or, well,
Yeah, there's a curb and gutter,
Right,
and then there is.
and then whatever it is, 5 or 6 feet, and
Right, I would just like to
you'd
see
want it
that
to be 6 foot, right?
6 feet to be uniform with the rest is all. I just think it'd be smart to make sure that that's, you know, consistent with what's proposed to be further east is all.
The only problem with that is that we are gonna utilize some of the sidewalk that already exists, so there will be a difference in width, because like the
Right,
sidewalk down by
right.
the chambers
No,
not.
this is new, and
Yeah.
the new is 6, and they're
Yeah.
putting this in new, so I'm just saying, I would imagine that we would try to do it. I just don't, it's not on the subdivision, it's not on the plat, but I don't have a copy of that site. I just something, I mean, it's not that big a deal, but.
No, it shouldn't be a big deal.
I just would like to make a note of it, so we make sure that that is.
And Foster Street has been waived, the
Correct,
sidewalk,
correct.
correct?
That's right.
From the last meeting or whatever. Yeah, okay. Well, here again, like I say, you know, get squared away with Don, and Don says, yeah, it's a go, I'd be happy to see you here in 2 weeks.
Is it possible,
Does anybody else have any comments, sir?
I have a question.
Well, it's less than 2 weeks, technically, because everything has to be done by the Friday before.
Well, their information has to be in to
Right.
him.
Right.
To Don by then, but I'm just saying if falls in place, 2 weeks is when you would be back here.
Can we
It's
break-
correct, the Friday before the meeting is when all the information has to be in by noon. So,
And that doesn't mean Don has to get it done from Friday till Wednesday. That's just when it has to be turned in here so we can look at it.
Can you explain again what you're asking for outside of the updated site plan that's been submitted to Don?
I want to make sure that Don looks at it and sees that everything he is, in his letter is covered
Okay.
and taken care of, and I'm not looking for any new little rat holes to throw at you. I'm happy if, let's put it this way, if Don's happy and okay with it, Tim seems to be quite happy with it so far,
Good.
I'll be happy.
I think Adam said he submitted his
Yeah.
revised,
Yeah.
he submitted it to Don, but Don still needs to review it.
Well, then Don needs to review it, and he gets the review done, and then we should be in good shape.
Sounds
That's
good.
all
Yeah,
I'm saying.
there was a misunderstanding. There was discussion about demolition of walls. I thought you said you wanted architectural drawings of the building.
I did mention it, but I don't know if that's required or not, and Tim's saying no.
Well, he's gonna need that for the permit to actually do his construction, but he doesn't need it for.
Beyond us.
The site plan, the building
Yeah.
footprint, the site's exactly the same, so.
Okay. Then we're ready.
Right,
We're ready for
right,
next
right.
2 weeks.
And I wasn't sure if we needed it or not, so that's why I said it.
Okay.
So I was mistaken, so.
You're good with the 6-foot sidewalk?
Yeah, we can make that.
No problem? Okay.
Give me an
They got
hour.
extra concrete from Foster Street.
The 12-foot sidewalk? The other thing I was gonna say was, I don't know what the confusion is with the lighting. It seems pretty simple to me, but,
Yeah, it's just, I think that the standard is written, I don't know, maybe in an environment where you don't have neighbors that are immediately adjacent. This is
full cutoff means full cutoff.
Oh, and there is
And
full
that's-
cutoff.
yeah.
It's not the full cutoff, it's what they call a uniformity ratio, and it's just to try to create some
Well,
uniformity
the
in the
minimum-
illumination on
The minimum at the ground level, doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to be uniform, I don't think, in lieu of the neighbors having light in the windows.
Yeah, there won't be any light that exits the
There's always,
property.
okay, there's always gonna be variances on the ground
Yeah.
of light, of output, so.
Yeah, we'll be back for a variance to the ordinance because of that particular. I mean, if this project was, when the neighbors were further away and it wasn't oriented as it is, it would be easier to achieve the standards, but it's difficult because it's a retrofit.
Yeah, if you had another acre, we wouldn't even be here.
What's that now?
If you had another acre, you wouldn't even be here. All right, well, we got a pretty good idea of what we're looking for. It basically is Don's approval thing. You know, that's it. And, we'll be happy to hear you out in 2 weeks.
Sounds great. We'll be
Okay.
back. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, number 2, facility development permanent plat. This was, at the last meeting, was given a 90-day deferral, so we're not even gonna entertain this thing right now. Number 3, Danny Starovich, concept plan for 2-lot subdivision. Owner petitioner, Danny Starovich, 8601 West 141st Lane, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Vicinity of 8601 West 141st Lane, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Petitioner is requesting the subdivision to subdivide lot structure from 5 separate lots into 2 one-lot subdivision, or 2-lot subdivision.
Good to see you guys again. Danny Starovich, 8601 West 141st Lane, Cedar Lake, Indiana, and this is my wife, Tara. And we are here for the same objective, the 5 lots to 2. When we were here in August, you guys wanted to see what we would put on the second lot. So the past couple of months, we've been meeting with the builder to go over what we wanted to build, to see if we could reach all the setbacks and everything. And it's in the file. It's this right here. This is what we would be building on the second lot there. And then if you guys were okay with that and okay with going forward, we would still like to go with the 2 lots.
And I got here again, a little note from Don, the town engineers, and it says, old business number 3, which would be you. I know the last time they provided a concept plan, they were advised to attend a BZA meeting to determine how to best subdivide the parcel. I don't think I ever received something new on this one, so I don't have much to say. Did you go to the BZA?
No, we weren't noticed that we should have been there.
So that's not something that just come up now and maybe they weren't told that?
I don't know, I'm just reading what Don had to say here, and I don't really
I don't remember that, but...
I don't remember anything about the BZA either on how to subdivide it.
I remember talking about another garage, because the other garage is on the
Would be on the south.
southern property, yeah.
Well, yeah, you got a line, the property line will be running down the middle of the 5 lots.
Yes, going east.
Right, so you're splitting the 5 lots in half.
Yes.
And then you got the house on
The north side,
the north side, and then you got a garage there.
which we would demolish, and then we would like to build.
The garage is gonna be demoed, then you're
Yes.
gonna put a house that shows her brother in the middle of that next
Yes, sir.
lot.
With the garage and front door facing east, and that, and we submitted those, so that drawing blueprint should be in our file with the house and everything.
I've got some diagrams and stuff in that here, showing that. Do they need to go to the BZA on this, or?
Well, I mean, I'm looking at, I know I seen, Kirsten showed me one thing, but, you have the Monroe here, which shows 52-foot 6, and then you have another picture with a 20-foot setback, and then you have the Monroe that is 41-foot 4 with a 30-foot setback.
Yeah, one has a 3-car garage, one is only with a 2-car garage. We would like to go with the 3-car garage if we were able to, but that's why we submitted both.
Okay, well, the one with the 2-car garage with the 30-foot setbacks does not look like it would need to go for a variance by my quick looking at it. The other one with the 3-car garage, you would need a front yard variance because it's a corner lot for that 20-foot, so.
Yes, sir.
So they can build a 2-car garage. I mean, by my quick looking at it, I'm sure the lot coverage, looking at it, looks okay, but the setbacks are okay, and looks okay.
Well, Don mentioned in this how to subdivide it, and I don't know why they have to come to
I think that was the talk originally, is that it was very hard for us to make a determination of how they were gonna split up the lot without knowing what they planned and if they would need variances, so They left enough side yard where, you know, on the north lot to leave that 8-foot minimum, so that didn't create an issue. And then, you know, seeing this kind of clarifies what we asked for last time, because we didn't know
Right.
what the intent was. So if they just did a 2-car garage on this property with the house that they're showing, they can do it without a variance. So, they could still go through the variance process, obviously, to try to get, you know, if they wanted to do the 3rd car, that's completely up to them, I would imagine, so.
Well, that would cut 20 feet off of the side yard, right?
10.
10 foot off?
Yeah, because right now they're showing, I mean, they got a 30-foot setback, and it looks like they're 31, 32 feet off of the line. They do have a 10-foot, it looks like they're,
Oh.
I mean, it's real close if they went all the way to the 8 feet on the north side of the line, if they would be able to fit it or not. But by what I have here to look at, it's kind of tough, but it looks like they have a couple feet, at least 6 feet on the, because you can go to 8 feet on the north, so if you went all the way to 8 feet, it looks like you would gain, you know, like 6 foot, and then you got a little bit on the other side. So I don't know the exact math, but it's.
Right, we're right there.
You're right there. You might be able to, yeah, you're real close to do the 2-car garage, but.
So you understand what Tim's saying?
Yes, sir.
If you want to put a 2-car garage up, then.
It is okay without a variance.
No variance needed, no BZA. If you want to put the 3-car garage up, then you have to come up with a plan showing us where the house was set, how much side yard you're gonna have in that, and
Yes.
probably need a variance for that,
Okay, yes, sir.
which means you'd have to file and do all that stuff for the BZA.
And now with the, turning it from 5 to 2, okay, are we able to go forward with that?
Yeah, this is just a work session, but I don't know, does anybody have any other comments on this?
I think the changing it 5 to 2 is just subdivision approval, right? And then
Yeah,
we're taking a garage away from the existing house,
Yes, correct, yes, sir.
and you're not gonna put another garage?
Not
in that?
right away.
Well,
That
are you ever
that's-
going to add a garage?
We will in the future.
Well, that future is not a date.
No.
We get in trouble with that word.
Right, yes, sir. Now,
That will be a 3-car garage.
No, I'm talking
No.
about the existing house that has the garage now. They get rid of that garage, when will that existing home have another garage?
But that's the one you want to build a 3-car garage for?
No,
No, that
the
was-
existing home.
yeah,
Oh.
you just-
Oh, so,
Now, with my understanding, it was only with new construction that you would need a garage right away. With that house on the north lot being already grandfathered in, would it need a garage right away, or could we give a little time?
I don't like the idea of
Oh,
removing garages.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because if you were building on that home, on that lot now with our current building requirements, you would have to have a garage.
On the new construction.
Well,
But you have an existing home on a,
Yes.
sorry, Jeff, you have an existing home in a new subdivision.
Yes, sir.
You create a new subdivision. That's what Jeff's talking about.
Yes, sir.
If that was a new home, you'd have to have a garage, so you're getting rid of a home and wanting to split things up.
Okay, yes, sir.
but to answer his question, does not have to build a garage right now.
That would
is
be-
he creating his own hardship by making a 2-lot subdivision with,
He would be.
I guess that would be my only concern.
So with building the new house, getting rid of this garage, the house on the north side would need a garage as well.
It's highly recommended that you put the garage in at this time,
Right.
so you don't create any other
Future problem.
future problems for yourself, difficulties or hardships, when you would have to go before the BZA to get approval for doing it. Now, my question is, does the garage on the existing house have to be attached, or can it be set off?
Doesn't have to be attached.
It does not have to be attached. And it can be a 1-car garage or a 2-car garage, as long as it's a garage, right?
Well, I mean, the requirement now is for a new house, it has to have a minimum 400 square foot garage, so that's 20 by 20. We used to have a caveat in there for a place for a garage, which I don't even know if it's in there any longer, but, I mean, I agree with what these guys are saying. I mean, you're taking half of this property to build a new house, and the property as a whole is compliant to our rules right now. I mean, it has a two-car garage, it has a house, so, I mean, I don't know if it will be practical to just put a new pad in and move this garage over there instead of wrecking it. Probably be a possibility for sure. I mean, I'm sure you can pour a new foundation to that same size,
Right,
lift
put
that
the
up,
shell, put the shell over there.
put it back over there and do it for, you know, a little more economically, but I would imagine that could be done. I don't know what kind of shape that garage is in, I didn't really see it, but, if it's in good shape, that's definitely a possibility, but.
You're pretty serious about splitting this in the north part and the south part, not the east part and the west part?
Yes, sir. I mean,
Okay,
yes, so.
that would solve a whole bunch of problems.
Yeah, 100% leaving the garage up and stuff.
Well, then I guess you need to show us where you're gonna put the garage on for the existing house.
Yes, sir.
So we need to see that on
Right.
the drawing, and then you need to decide if you're gonna go with the two-car garage
Three-car garage.
or the three-car
Yes,
garage.
sir.
And if you're gonna go with the three-car garage, you also need to show that, whichever one you choose, but if you go with the three-car garage, you need to show that, and you're also gonna have to go before the BZA.
Possibly.
Pardon?
Possibly,
Possibly,
Might get
okay.
variance, right, okay.
possibly, right.
Possibly, it might be able to be done through here, so,
Yes,
you
sir.
know. So those are a couple things you're gonna have to
Swear away.
Now, according to Don, he doesn't seem to have much to say, but I don't know how much he's looked at this.
Right, yes, sir.
So, I mean, I would move forward with this information,
Yes.
get it to us so Don can review it, and
And
then,
then we'll go from there.
yeah.
Perfect.
And if it has to be in by noon or Friday before the next meeting,
Okay.
if you can't make that, then it's gonna roll over until, November,
Yes, sir. Okay, awesome.
okay?
Well,
I don't think there's any big snags here.
no, right, we
And
just,
Tim's idea of actually moving the old garage
Yeah.
is a really good idea.
awesome. So we'll put a pad down, and we just gotta show that and then go from there.
Okay, sounds good?
Thank you guys very much, I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Okay. Hey, I didn't call you. I read the agenda.
You can say the next petition item.
Okay. Number 4, Neil Poplin, final plat. Owner petitioner Neil Poplin, 9204 West 143rd Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Vicinity of 9212 West 143rd Place, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Petitioner is requesting a one-lot subdivision. Number 4, Don says on number 4.
It's actually number 3 on Don's list. NB number 3.
It's number 3?
Yeah, Don's comment is the new business number 3 on the pop one.
Oh, because we had one added in there.
Yeah, something happened there, but.
I know the first time they provided a concept plan, they were advised to attend that's BZA. That's what I just read, BZA meeting to determine new business. Come more down. No, this is old business.
NB number 3.
NB number 3.
This is old business.
It's on NB number 3 on that list
right
here. Sit down, here. NB number 3.
I can mix it up a little. Number 4, number 3.
Oh, yeah, I see it. Poplin Estates, final plat, we had a very minor comment similar to the preliminary plat review. We don't anticipate any issues in 2 weeks. Anybody got any discussion or questions about that?
I don't. I noticed in Don's comments, number 3, any approval should be contingent on a proposed utility easement northeast of the parcel being acquired and recorded. That's done?
Yeah, so Jack calls the DDG.
That's for run the water or sewer or whatever it is?
Sanitary sewer.
Neil,
Okay.
I delivered an exhibit to Mr. Austin this evening, demonstrating that easement document. The description of that property is prepared.
Okay.
Neil has engaged an attorney to prepare the actual document.
Okay.
And so that will be in place. We've presented, so that obviously there's a 3-step process: concept plan, primary plat. We did that last month, had that public hearing, and now we're requesting the final plat so that the Mylars can be recorded. Neil would like to start home construction, I think before the end of the month. Would be ideal. So we get that plat recorded, and then you get a full building permit. This lot is, as you know, will be served by sanitary sewer, but will be well, so there's no water in the area, so no whole issues that you talked about at the beginning of the meeting regarding water is not germane really to this lot. So we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks if you find that acceptable.
I don't see a problem. I don't see a problem with Don's waivers on here either.
Yeah.
So.
Any other comments? Wait.
When does the agreement have
Your name and address for the record?
Neil Poplin, 9204 West 143rd Place, Cedar Lake. When does the agreement from the attorney have to be turned? Does it need to be turned in to you guys by the Friday before, or what? Who does that need to go to?
All information or data has to be, for an upcoming meeting, has to be turned in by noon the Friday before the meeting.
Okay.
Just what he wants to know.
Pardon?
He wants to know who it needs to go to.
Okay, and either Cheryl or Kirsten. One or two, either Cheryl sitting over there or Kirsten. Just go ahead and ask for the building department and someone will take care of it, correct?
Correct. So it needs to be executed and done by...
But Don's number 3 says Don's comment number 3 says contingent on a proposed easement. So after your guy writes it up, Mr. Austin has to review it, correct? Yeah.
That's what I was just suggesting to Neil. So if it's ready, we want to send that via PDF or a document today so he can review.
Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Sounds good, thanks. New business, Hen Holdings, site plan, owner petitioner, Hen Holdings LLC, 13733 Wicker Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Vicinity of 13861 Alexander Street, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Petitioner is requesting site plan for developing in Railside Lot 27. Hi.
Hello. Jack Halls from DVG, representing Hen Holdings. Rob is here also this evening, so if you have any questions you want to direct this way, you can do that. We're requesting site plan approval at your upcoming meeting in 2 weeks for this building. It's on Lot 27 in Railside. It's one of the business zone lots. There's 2 zoning classifications on the north and the south, if you recall that PUD. And so we've met the criteria that you agreed upon in that document for the setbacks and basically all your bulk standards. It's a 4-tenanted building with access around the entire building. put together a site plan. We did get some review comments from Don and responded to those. Obviously, Don is not available right now, but we anticipate that those review comments will be satisfactorily addressed prior to the meeting in 2 weeks.
All right, it has short note here is, I believe we received a resubmittal earlier this week. The initial review comments were rather minor and should be good in 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
This is zone B3, correct?
So there was a B3, and I believe the M zone was on the north portion of the project. So this is in the southern business classification.
But part of this lot 27 is an M1 too?
No, the first 6 lots in the
Yeah.
subdivision off of 141st, 3 on the east side, 3 on the west side are B3, and the whole entire north, all the way back to the ball fields, is the industrial.
Yeah.
So this is the last B3 lot before the industrial starts.
Okay, and this is what we're building on is B3?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and all the businesses going in there are all B3
Yeah.
related?
Yeah.
Correct.
Do we know what they are?
Well, our PUD, no, we do not. Our PUD has a list in it.
Yeah, right, I've seen the list, they sent it to me.
No, this is totally on speculation, this building at this point. We put the first one up back in the industrial zone because everything was moving very slowly there basically because of the moratorium. So we put that first building up in the industrial zoning, and that spurred some interest, and we sold 3 more lots. We have not sold any B3 lots, so our intent is to do the same thing up there. We'll start a building in the B3, generate some interest, hopefully we'll sell some up there.
This building we're looking at on this, on here is gonna have 4 businesses in it?
Correct.
Okay.
And the PUD, Jerry, allows for multiple businesses on one lot.
Okay.
And there should be plenty of parking around there for...
Yeah, we did that parking calculations and,
When I look at this, I think of the building by Aurelio's and the anarchy there with the traffic and the parking. So, but there's only so much parking here. They can fight amongst themselves.
Have any other questions? Discussion?
How's this gonna affect with the water, with IDEM?
Pardon me?
How's this gonna go with the IDEM going on right now?
I don't know.
Dave?
so, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, IDEM won't see this petition because there is already water in front of this lot. And so, the process for pulling a building permit for commercial property is to seek plan commission approval. And then once we have plan commission approval, we submit to the state for a state design release with the health department. Once we receive that state design release, we bring that document to the building department, and the building department does their review, makes sure that everything's still consistent with the approvals of the site plan, and then issues their building permit. So if the town is going beyond what IDEM has said regarding water main extensions and not allowing building permits, because of that would be unknown to us. And if that's the case, I think it's reasonable for a petitioner standing in front of you to know that piece of information before they proceed.
That's why I'm asking before,
Right.
because I don't know the answer to that question myself.
Dave,
Especially what's gonna happen in 2 weeks, you know?
let's ask Dave about that.
We don't know what's gonna happen. The response from IDEM may well be, given some of the content of the discussion we had, that they could rescind certain approvals that were made. They could have those permits that were issued withdrawn. They could be penal. There could be a lot of things that happen.
A lot of unknowns.
So they're completely that. I mean, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I can't predict any more than the petitioners here can predict what's going to happen with the flow of water upon review by IDEM, analysis, response by the town. We're obviously going to be assertive, affirmative, and positive about our approach. That doesn't mean anything until we get filing made, response given and some discussion had.
So in 2 weeks, we won't have an answer, we won't be able to pass this in 2 weeks.
Sure, and I guess
I'm sorry, Jack.
I have this question, and that is, there was an NOI with an allocation for this business in that NOI that was signed by the town and was approved by IDEM. This project went through the formal primary and final platting. So we have a legal lot of record, which means that there is public infrastructure installed. There are public bonds, letters of credit that the town is holding for this improvement. So there should be, in our opinion, no issue with pulling a building permit because there's adequate surety. The town has signed all the permits that are required for us to have water service available and have communicated via approval of a final plat that water is available.
But like Dave's saying,
I understand, and
that if they may rescind some of this, and I don't think that's right, but.
Well, we've already had people, we've already had taps out of that system.
Yeah.
There is a well back there already, right?
No,
The
well-
farmhouse, there was a well back there?
Well, that was abandoned, 3 years ago. And we have received our NOI, 2 years ago. We already have people tapped onto it, we have lots tapped onto the water system. We're drawing water as we speak. We've made all our commitments that we're supposed to make, like Jack said, we've done the bonds. We put substantial investment in that place. If you don't issue permits, that means we can't sell lots. And the part I really hate is this is a televised meeting. And any customer I potentially have, any customer Schillings has, any customer Lakeside, Lakeview has, just heard that Cedar Lake is closed. And that, gentlemen, is a bad deal. And we're already approved. I cannot understand why this cannot be, this site cannot be approved. I guess my other question would be, really quickly today, I know there's going to be much more discussion on that the next couple of days, and this is just a work session, so we're not going to solve anything tonight in that regard. I hope that some clarity can come in the next 2 weeks on the water situation, at least for the water situation for people that are already approved. They've already, crossed all their T's and dotted their I's as we have, and then, I guess my point would be, Tim, this question for you. This building is a speculation building, so there'll be permits pulled later on interior build-outs, okay? There should be no problem to go ahead and get a permit pulled on the building shell, correct? Or at least the way I see it. Because they're not going to be able to hook up their water until they come in for their permit for the interior building.
Right, but, I mean, yeah, I got no comment. I mean, like everybody's saying, what is the future? I agree, the water is in front of the building, the water main is live. If you don't have a permit to put it in, there's already people using water out of that line, so it should have failed, but I don't know.
Well, I guess my question would be, or not, my statement would be, I'd like to have an answer on that. If we're going to be okay and get approval in 2 weeks, I think that should be an urgent. The town should take this beyond what I understand it's urgent, but I mean, this is top priority of anything, because you guys have just shut down the town from any development, and not only development, but anybody from approving. This has got to be solved and solved now. I would like to hopefully get some answers if it's going to be approved and a permit can be issued when we come back in 2 weeks.
We just found out about this officially last night.
Well, Chuck, I understand that, but I sat in these meetings, and not only these meetings, I've sat in utility board meetings, I've sat in town board meetings, I've watched them on YouTube. For 2 years, I've watched the water engineer, sits right here at this table next to Dave. And he said, I don't know how many times in those meetings, we need more production on the west side, we need more production on the west side. This is nothing new, gentlemen. You guys have known this for, not you guys, but, the town in general, has known this for some time. I've brought it up many times here. We bring about solutions, and it's just very frustrating, very frustrating. We come in and we spend, and not only myself, like I said, you've got 10 or 12 other developers in town that are sitting on lots they have spent millions and millions of dollars on, or borrowed millions and millions of dollars on, paying interest every day. And this has to be solved. And And it's bad if there's a delay, but the message we're sending, just tells all our potential buyers that we're closed, and that's not good. So my request would be that we could hopefully get some kind of resolution on the existing lots that already have, we already have an approved NOI, we were ready to go in the next 2 weeks is what I would hope.
Dave, when do you think we can respond to IDEM, and what do you think the turnaround will be?
I think we're talking 30 days to get a response down to Indianapolis to the August letter. I think there's going to be a lot of dialogue. In addition to that, the engineers have to do this work. We're going to have them do it. So, in 30 days is a target, but it isn't an exact science. We have an engineer, for example, who's not in the country right now. He's our consulting engineer. We can't control that stuff.
What's the chance of just hiring an engineer just for this project, so he can devote the full time for this project?
That's been discussed by the utility board and town council, and that may happen.
Well,
But Don Oliphant didn't go down to the meeting. Christopher B. Burke sent, what was his name, Kevin, or?
Kevin,
And I heard he did a lot of the talking there.
Kevin was prepared.
He was very well prepared.
So.
I thought Nisa's was the water engineer for
They were there.
They were there too, but, we turned some of this over to Christopher B. Burke.
Okay. Well, like I said, we can talk this to we're blue in the face, we're not gonna solve anything tonight. So, like I said, my hope is some of the town board members are watching, some of them are here, and hopefully, we can get something sooner than 30 days would be nice, but it is what it is, I guess.
Well, it may not be 30 days, Rob.
I hope not.
I mean, we're giving you a target date.
Yeah, okay, well, hopefully soon. So in other words, if we can just get back to looking, if anybody had any questions about the building, I guess, because we'll be back in 2 weeks regardless.
I have no issues with the building.
Okay.
Your PUD says, you can have 4 businesses in there, that's fine. Your concerns about the water have always had 2 answers when I asked them. It's fine, and then there's always a rumor it's not fine.
Yeah, and I've heard the same thing,
And-
but everything was
and-
signed out that it was fine. So that's the problem.
I guess the other question, not the question, the thing that concerns me is there's plenty of water in that pipe out in the street to flush toilets and wash trucks. But if the building's on fire, is there enough water in that pipe? And you're right, somebody must have signed something, or maybe they did, maybe they didn't, I don't know.
Yeah, they did.
Those are the things that concern me, is fire suppression, not the sprinklers inside, but the fire trucks outside. Because in 2011, we had a situation here in town, and there was a lot of discussion about we could only put 2 snorkels on it. So,
And my concern, as I just mentioned a few minutes ago, is that IDEM approved these permits, and I can't believe they want to rescind any of them. I just can't understand that.
No, I mean, I'd have a hard time believing that myself, but, I'm not an attorney, I'm just a lonely developer here in town. So we'll see, I guess. Like I say, we can't solve that problem tonight. I think we've made our point known and, our thoughts. I'd just like to get back to, if you had any questions for Jack on the building. Oh, we did talk about the drive-throughs, correct?
They're part of the petition, so we can do that. I think, to maybe to wrap that up, is I think at least in 2 weeks, it would be fair to basically all your petitioners, is to have an understanding, is the plan commission going to be granting site plan approval contingent on the ability to pull a building permit based on that, any findings from IDEM, or are you going to refrain from action on all petitions because of that, and thereby do deferrals? I think that's fair for a fair request to make on that knowledge, because frankly, this is not the only petition, and not the only petitions that my firm is working on, and I need to know whether or not to advise my clients just to go somewhere else, or whether or not they are welcome to make petitions to the town of Cedar Lake.
I personally would like to take each petition as far as we can at this time, so that when, and it will be when, not if, the release item, we find the water item tells us we can go ahead and do it, that we're not sitting here going through another 6 months of trying to get something done. But I need people above me, to tell me that I can do that. But yes, I would like to see it brought as far as I can.
Yep.
And then contingent upon, water.
Right, because we don't lose any more months having to come
Right,
back.
I mean, and I think you made a very good presentation and point tonight, Rob. I agree with you 100%.
Kind of caught me off guard.
And we're
And
frustrated.
then, can we do it on contingent on, item?
We'll be back in 2 weeks and you can have the answer at that
All right.
time. We're not looking for the answer tonight, we're just requesting when we come back in 2 weeks. It'd be
We hope,
great to know the answer.
we hope we have some answers to your questions.
Okay, getting back to the building, there was some other questions or concerns we need to be aware of?
All the stormwater's good.
Yeah, I mean, we basically met all the ordinances regarding this, we did the photometrics, got landscaping plans, so all that stuff is in order.
Unless Don throws a wrench in this somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have those letters from a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yep, yeah, and we addressed all that stuff, it's all back in his inbox.
I don't wanna see any new things added to it,
Any new things added to what?
to something that needs to be done.
Oh, no,
Yeah, just what's here.
it's a,
I don't want something else popping up, well, we didn't have that in there.
if Don did a letter and they addressed that stuff.
Yeah, I'm fine with what Don's requesting, and I'm sure you know what it is. And, real loud in your hearing aids.
Hello?
So I don't think there's any more questions, at least I don't have any more. I think just, respond to Don's letter, which you probably already have, and go from there, I think. Anybody else?
You're gonna have to ask this question quite a bit for a while, Jack, I think.
Okay, we good?
I think so, well, we're kind of good.
Well, for this
We
moment.
can't do tonight.
Yeah, as far as we can go, yeah, okay.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Rob. Number 2, industrial tractor parts, site plan. Owner CLBD South LLC, P.O. Box 488, Dyer, Indiana 46311. Petitioner Industrial Tractor Parts, 755 California Avenue, Dalton, Illinois 60419. Petitioner is requesting site plan to build an industrial warehouse building in Lakeview Business Park, Lot 8, is that? And Don's comment here is, same as number 2, very similar comments, except at Lakeview Business Park, we also received I want to do this, but I gotta get my magnifying glass.
Yeah. He's an engineer, he writes small.
To resubmittal earlier this week, and it should be good in 2 weeks. So,
Yeah, so Jack Hulls, from DVG, representing the petitioner this evening, Industrial Tractor Parts and CLBD South. This Industrial Tractor is a supplier for basically parts for bulldozers, backhoes, any of the heavy machinery for mass excavation that you see. They supply the repair parts for like the tracks and lifts and that kind of stuff. So they've got several locations throughout the east sides of the United States. So they're in Massachusetts, Texas, Florida, Louisiana. I think they've got about 10, 12 locations. Their primary one is in Dalton, Dalton, Illinois, and looking to set up another location in Cedar Lake. It's a multi-tenanted site, so he potentially would be using both sides, but again, that's an allowed thing in the PUD. This is another PUD parcel. Lot 8 is, Action Plumbing has an entrance up near the Store Safe project, right across the street on that T intersection. It's that lot on the northeast corner. We've submitted a site plan, and gone through a little bit of review with Don, made a resubmittal back to him. I believe you have a rendering in your package of what the building would look like from the architect. Remember a couple of months ago, Brian Van Ryan from Van Ryan Architects was here, and he talked about 2 projects. This is one of those projects that he talked with you about. And so we're entertaining your comments and questions about this project.
Is this just going to be storage? Storage, warehousing, just storage and shipping?
I believe it's not a retail place in the sense, I'm not going to the store and buying tracks for a bulldozer, but they supply that type of part out of this business. So yeah, it's a warehouse, and R&R Sewer needed to repair the bulldozer, they would run over here and pick up the part and go fix their bulldozer.
They're not doing any manufacturing or painting?
No, it's a storage of...
Strictly storage
Yeah.
and distribution.
So warehouse is an appropriate one. Yeah.
Okay. Questions?
That's my understanding.
So no lifts inside, no repair?
I'm not aware of their exact business model, so I couldn't say. Given how the building is structured, I'm not seeing access doors or repair work to be done at this facility. There are 2 truck bays that you'll notice kind of in the middle of the building.
Have docks?
They have the docks, but I'm not seeing large service bay type doors. So that would indicate to me that there's drop off of warehouse materials in and out.
Will they have plenty of parking? I mean, would they have a lot of employees?
The codes that you have for this area, yeah.
Okay.
And we've run our truck turn analysis to make sure that semis can get in and out. You'll notice strategically there's a driveway location directly south of those truck docks, so should work pretty well.
Any other questions, guys? No?
So, this wouldn't include any overnight truck parking or anything, would it?
Not outside.
Okay.
I believe, well, out like on the property, other than the truck bay, if the truck is gonna be parked in that bay.
Well, I understand if a semi shows up at 3 o'clock in the morning, they have to hang around, they gotta hang around and wait.
I can't answer that question.
I'm just, yeah.
Reliably, but
This kind of goes with Jeff's question about repair.
Like 3 or 4 trucks lining up on the street, waiting for.
Yeah, and this kind of goes with Jeff's question, if they're gonna start repairing things, then, there'll be equipment sitting there. But you're saying it's not gonna repair?
I'm thinking they're bringing the track parts to there, and
Okay.
the repair guys are going there, picking it up.
Gotcha.
Taking it to the job site to put on the truck, or the
Tractor.
the backhoe, whatever they're fixing.
As long as the semis can get in and out of there, I guess we're good.
So we made sure of that.
Well, I guess, don't have any more questions, sounds pretty cut and dry.
Yep. I think we're in
Anybody
the
else?
same position as your previous petition on this one. The conditions are largely similar.
Any other questions?
No?
Well, let's see what Don has to say, and, and review that, and go from there, I guess, it could be ready in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, sounds good. Okay, are we good?
Do you need me here for any update items?
Yes,
Huh?
yes.
We got, update, I got Beacon Point Unit 1 and Beacon Point Unit 5 West. You got anything on those? What I got from Don is update item, Beacon Point East Unit 1, performance letter of credit to expire October 30th, 2024. Shelley were forwarded a revised punch list for Unit 1 maybe 2 weeks ago. They need to address these, I can see tonight, need to address these items prior to rolling into maintenance or extend their performance. This may be tight to give me starting to lose the construction season. So what they're saying is they've got some punch list to do, and
Yeah, I'm pretty sure these probably are very similar, they just have different dates. There's probably punch list items that Jack Slager is working on.
both items.
Yeah, for both of these, there's punch list items that he needs to work through. He's either gonna get them done and Don's gonna approve it before your, next meeting, or he's gonna provide you with an extension on that.
There's a particular item that may or may not be on the punch list. The driveway in front of Weinkoop's house. Back in October, there was an email sent to the Weinkoops. The status of the sidewalk through your driveway has not and will not change, regardless of what the developer says. It is on the punch list to be repaired before the letter of credit will be released by the town. Please have him look into that.
Yeah, I'm sure that's on that punch list item.
Just, please make sure.
Yeah, sure.
Mr. President, I have sent a letter to Jack Schilling as well, asking for an update and what he thinks he'll be doing with an extension or...
Sure.
Did you say Jack Schilling?
Yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
Jack Slager.
We got it.
You put them in
There's
the...
probably one somewhere.
It's whipped.
Yeah, all of them.
Jack whipped.
Go ahead.
But I do have an email out to him. I expect to hear back from him tomorrow, so we have been in contact.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. All right, nothing else? Okay, you're done? Okay.
Mr. President, I do have two more things. So we do have Cedar Lake Storage. Their performance is expiring October 20th, 2024. And we knew that that one was coming, and also Centennial Phase 13 is in maintenance. That one will be expiring as well. That one has been approved, and those are the next ones on the list.
I don't have them here, but Cedar Lake Storage
That was all
is
good.
complete.
We can let that,
Pardon?
Don said last meeting that was good, we can let that expire.
Yeah,
That wasn't
we can
the
let
one
that
for the
expire,
sidewalk.
right.
That was the one for the paving.
Yeah, so that should expire. And what was the other one?
We have Centennial Phase 13. That one's in maintenance, and that one will expire October 29th, 2024, and he also approved that one.
To let it expire?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, fine.
John,
Yes.
Lennar has an update on Don's list. Oh, you saw that?
Yeah, I know, but I'm going, we got a special meeting, having a special session, and Lennar's on it, Rose Garden's on it,
Okay,
okay? So we'll skip that and go to that,
all right.
okay? Do we have any public comment? Any public comment on the work session? Last call. Okay, that's closed. I'm gonna adjourn the work session, and I'm gonna open up the special meeting. Number one is,
Are we gonna do roll call and stuff?
well, we already did the pledge of allegiance, so I don't think we need to do it again. Let's do a roll call real quick.
Mr. Becker?
Here.
Mr. Parker is absent. Mr. Carnahan?
Here.
Mr. Hunley? Ms. Sensauer is absent. Mr. Wolkeny?
Here.
Mr. Pecora?
Present.
Mr. Oliphant is absent. Mr. Austin?
Present.
Mr. Bungie?
Present.
Mr. Kubiac?
Here.
Ms. Seidik is present.
Thank you.
Okay, now, number one, under, the special, meeting here is Store Safe, final plat, make it legal lot of record, preliminary previously approved by site plan approval. Owner petitioner is Store Safe of Cedar Lake LLC, 5301 Dempster Street, Suite 300, Skokie, Illinois, 60077, vicinity of 13649 Wicker Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Do we have, hi?
Hello again, Jim Sag, Store Safe, 5301 Dempster, Suite 300, Skokie, Illinois, 60077. Well, I guess where we're at, from what I understand, and Mr. Austin's done a nice job communicating with Dave Westland, our attorney, and with me, is despite all of our collective great efforts to try and bring this thing to a close, you know, the item issue has reared its head. And, I mean, I can tell you what my preference is, and probably the steps we will take, and then let's see what you guys think. My preference remains that you give us a shot to try and, you know, proceed and get our NOI. We have no water. We have a special case. It does not cost Cedar Lake anything to let us try. I just don't want all of us, you guys, me, you put hours into this. I don't want to see those hours go down the toilet, right? So I would like to figure out a way, and I'd like your town attorney to be directed to help us find a way to just have a signed agreement and build this IDEM issue into it. And there it can sit until this can be solved. I don't see the harm in that. I think there's less liability for the town letting the state turn us down than to say, look, Cedar Lake let you down as the property owner. That doesn't make sense to me. But, you know, everyone's hands are tied by what you guys feel comfortable with and what your town attorney feels comfortable with. I think I'm speaking common sense here, guys. And I have a fair amount of experience with this stuff as well. And I've dealt with countless development agreements and countless town attorneys and all over this great land of ours. So I don't see the downside of it. I can tell you that if this doesn't go through, you know, we are going to attempt to try and pull 2 building permits on 2 buildings on the back, de facto this process, and let's see what the state does. If the state turns us down, and we don't get through a design release, okay, the state lets us through on the basis that there's no water, that informs this process. So, I'm gonna stop for questions. Do you guys understand what I'm proposing here, or do you not understand what I'm proposing here?
You're proposing to seek an NOI permit, right?
Yeah,
And if you get it, you get it, if you don't, you don't.
That's it.
And I would think the state would, if I was her, the state, I'd approve that, because you're not gonna use any water.
I don't see why that...
Not true. Bob, you weren't in Indy. You might feel that way sitting here.
Okay.
Your life.
I totally agree with you.
I just don't see why it puts you in a bad position.
I absolutely, totally agree with you. However, fire suppression is not the term for only in the building. It's on the outside of the building.
Another aspect.
Huh?
It's another aspect that I didn't think of.
Okay. We don't know what's gonna be in your storage unit. We don't know what, all kinds of things can be in there. We know what a box of lithium-ion batteries will do in an airplane. That's the concern I have, and how do we keep the liability of not being able to fight a fire the best way we can out of the hands of the residents?
Sure. Jerry, let me answer that head on, okay? I deal with building code and NFPA, all additions, IBC, all additions all over this country. In Florida, in North Carolina, it's totally different than Indiana and Illinois, right? And what it comes down to is, the nice thing is with prefabricated metal buildings, okay, we have the building code, the model codes to protect us. These buildings are not required to be fire suppressed so long as you build them a certain size in a certain way. In Florida, believe it or not, you have to take every section, every 2,500 square feet has to be a fire rated section. We have to do, 3-hour firewall every 2,500 square feet. And actually, it changes the way you build a building. That's not the adopted code here. But to say Cedar Lake has any undue liability when we're following the same model code that's followed all over the state of Indiana and frankly, most of our 50 states in the U.S., totally sympathetic to what you're saying, but there is no undue liability born of Cedar Lake for approving a building that would get approved anywhere in the United States without fire suppression. Then I talk about hydrants, another topic, right? But we have what we have on our site, we have what we have on our site plan, and I would agree with you if we're talking about this front building being approved, because now you guys went and said, here's some additional permission, and I can tell you, being totally honest, that plan would require more hydrants. We have that on the plan. I don't have that requirement on the back. On the back, if I wanted to go pull 2 permits back there, yeah, Jack could do civil engineering, Don would have comments on the civil engineering, but this whole process of entering into this development agreement goes away. And I'm gonna find out what happens when we pull those permits or don't pull those permits anyways. I don't have a choice, guys. I'm not being, a smart aleck here.
You gotta pick one thing or another.
Well, and frankly, I'll do both. I mean, I really don't care. I mean, at this point, look, I have an obligation to my stakeholders, to my investors, to my bank, to my partners. I gotta try and do something. So, I don't see what is wrong. I think there's less liability on the part of the town to just go ahead and let the state deny us. But we didn't waste our time here, and we can always pick up this development agreement, where we left off whenever this problem's solved. What I don't want to do is start over again. I want to start over again, and the 6 names, 7 names I see here are different names. That's terrible. We have invested a ton of time in that.
I don't want to do something that's going to open us up to a lawsuit from the state or something because we let you do something. But we had, you had some documents that you redlined. All those red lines been taken care of?
No.
No, so those documents aren't ready?
We haven't worked on that at all. I think we're close, but.
Okay, so
I
that's...
haven't received anything from Dave West on the job.
See, that's part of the problem. The other one is liquidated damages. Have we come up with a number for liquidated damages?
Again, we didn't.
Pardon?
That wasn't the focus. The NOI, the water issue intervened.
Well, I don't want to see this fall by the wayside while we're waiting for IDEM to do something, so I mean, I think we should take care of these items, now. Like what is the fine gonna be? What's the liquidated damage? Someone said $1,000, someone said $5,000, someone said your firstborn, let's, mine's up for sale, but, no, he's not. Dale, you're okay, Dale. So can we come up with a number for liquidated damages?
John, how do we get past the NOI? Who in this town is gonna sign the NOI to transmit it to Indianapolis with the,
And it's gotta be signed by the town first before it goes to Indianapolis?
it has to go to Indianapolis to the town signature.
Okay.
And
I thought it could just go there.
I know that your water superintendent will not sign.
Would we be causing problems with IDEM and the relationship that's exists right now by shooting this arrow into the wind?
Yeah, it can be that. We have, again, the communications were quality, they were open-handed, they were without rancor or adversarial, demeanor, deportment. And we were presented, they independently showed us what they had.
And I kinda talked with Nick, and I got the impression that you talked to IDEM about this situation.
We did, and we didn't get a black and white answer. What we got was NOIs or permits in the planning process. They're important to us, they give us guidance as well as practical application of use and implementation. They're planning instruments as well as review instruments.
Can they ask IDEM, can they submit an MOI without a signature from anybody here in town?
I don't think so. The form, and in fact, the form is set up for the local unit check. That's what we, again, Ryan Kuiper, our water utility superintendent, declined. And Nick Recupero, our utility board, he declined to sign it.
Where can I get a copy of that NOI permit?
I'll get you one.
What I was told is the NOIs are not even gonna be accepted, it's gonna have to be a construction permit.
Yeah, they're changing their policy on
The
that.
NOI is the NOI is like a fast track kind of deal, but, from now, for the immediate future, everything will have to be done through a construction.
It's a shortcut methodology that is permitted under circumstances. In those circumstances, people like Jack explain and process. But Tim's right, their last communication to us was that they were going the long route. It isn't gonna be a short form return, it's gonna be a long route.
You'll get me both forms so I can look at
And
them?
I'll get you what I have, Bob. Absolutely.
If I can make a suggestion, we can wait for Mr. Kapora to come back. I mean, the spirit of what I'm saying is, let's take this all the way to the 1-inch line. Whenever you're all resolved what you resolve, let's make this thing turnkey at that point. That's all. I don't wanna have a brain drain on this council. I don't wanna have facts change. I don't want to do this again. We put so much time, money, effort into it. And frankly, we're gonna find out what happens pulling permits on the back, which has nothing to do with this process anyways. We'll see what happens there too. But, it sounds like, I don't wanna put words in anyone's mouth, there's at least the support to say, fine, let's take this agreement as far as we can to where we could all put a signature on it if and when the other issue is resolved.
Are you good with the fine being $5,000 a day?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't even remember what the other issues were, but they're not even,
It was screening and a few other
Yeah.
incidental things.
Yeah, that's
And 10 years instead of 15.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's all done, and that is not in red line form, and that from Dave Westland is done, finished, and Dave, I think it's been sitting with you. I agree with Dave, though, that any additional language regarding IDEM, no, we did not send anything over, because we don't know.
I wanna make sure that we're clear about that. I did not, in the last 2 weeks, receive anything from Westland.
Okay, there is a clean version of
I'm
this.
sure there is, but I didn't get it.
Okay, no problem. They're easy enough, I mean, it's his send on an email, but
Does anyone know, is there such a thing as concept to IDEM?
We gotta figure out what the problem is before we conceptualize.
Hook a fire truck up to 2 fire hydrants, you'll see what the problem is.
yeah, I'm real sympathetic, guys, I just, that all I want is, that all of us get a little bit of reward for all of our hard work. You guys show up here every night, at least I have a profit motive, you guys are doing this for free. So,
Not Jack.
That's for sure. But that's all I'm saying. So whatever we can do to get this thing, that it's in signature form, sitting there, that's all I'm asking of you guys, and then we'll see where.
It's ready to go, it seems like the 1-inch line.
Okay, Dave, is there anything we need to even put in there for item, or you don't wanna wax poetically on this on the fly
Not
here?
yet. We're gonna end up talking about that, and there'll probably need some language about it.
Okay.
Not yet.
This was 2 weeks ago. I was ready to approve this 2 weeks ago. But until we found out yesterday, about the meeting from IDEM, the previous person who was sitting over there screwed the town over and put us in the trick bag.
Well,
And I don't know, I'm so frustrated right now. They basically tied our hands.
I understand, Chuck. It's just imagine.
No, I can't imagine. I know you're frustrated. I'm frustrated. All the council members are frustrated.
Yeah. Well,
And it's just, what can I say, but.
Yeah, the impact on property values to every single one of us that pays taxes and owns a property here is felt. And for those of us that are in the in-between stage, it's particularly painful, because we have a loan pending with a certain amount of term, we have investors with a certain expectations. I mean, for those of us that are, exposed, it's particularly painful and damaging, So we'll try and mitigate those damages going the other route. And I would just ask you to be great partners in that and mitigate damages the other way by at least having this agreement ready to go. And I don't need to take up more of your time. That's really where I'm at.
Sooner Dave gets it to Dave, the sooner it can get correct on print, and again, we can be at the 1 yard line.
Okay. Do we need to come back? Or?
Depends on what, this is a public meeting, and what action are you going to take on this petition tonight?
I would like to change the fine status though from 5,000 a day for the first 30 days, 7,500 for the next 30 days, 10,000 a day for everything after that.
I don't think that's appropriate. If you're gonna do liquidated damages, pick a number, and that's the number each day. $500, $1,000, $55,000.
Do we want to defer this item until there's more information, or what do you want to do?
Dave, what's your opinion on?
Yeah, you heard me.
He said,
Put a circle around 30 days.
Okay,
We're gonna try and get work done in 30 days to get us to Indianapolis.
so he told us last night, because basically our hands are tied right now. And it's not fair for them, it's not fair for anybody. And I'm sorry, I'm upset, it makes me mad, but I know you guys are, but it's, you put us in a pickle.
Bob, deferral is recommended, deferral. I'll get the commitment document from Dave Westland. We'll have that in hand for sure, clean. And let's work through the problem with our water supply.
I'll make a motion to defer.
They have to be good for deferral. You say semantics?
Yeah, so just
Okay.
a matter of semantics here. 30 days from now would be another special hearing. Are you proposing that we do that, or are you proposing?
Continue this hearing.
Right, I guess what I'm asking is that 2 weeks later is your regular meeting. We could join these schedules back together
If some miracle happens in 2 weeks, yeah.
Well, yeah, so do you want us here in 2 weeks for that meeting? Do you want to hold another special meeting for this petition in early November, or do you want us to be here for the November public hearing?
I think when there's some real good information, somebody will let you know.
Yeah, but we gotta make a motion to continue the public hearing to a certain date.
Oh, okay.
The next public meeting.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
So in 2 weeks?
I'll make a motion, we continue the public
There
hearing.
won't be any answers
Yeah,
We can continue with that.
but then we can continue it again.
So you want to defer this for 2 weeks?
Continue, Jerry wants to continue this public hearing, for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks.
And then if we have to, we'll defer it again, or continue it.
That's fine.
So that gentleman has to drive from Skokie?
It's all right, I'll skip the next one. Sounds like it was not gonna, Jack will be here. Unless you guys tell me that something good happened.
We are trying to get together with the people that went down to Indianapolis,
Okay.
with the engineers. They are trying to work, we have to, there's a list, they're trying to get together and try to do some answers that IDEM wanted, so.
Appreciate it.
I'll second Jerry's motion.
All right, I got a motion by Mr. Wilkening to, continue this meeting until, our public hearing in 2 weeks, which would be the 16th, 23rd?
No, the 16th?
16th, yeah.
16th.
And a second by Mr. Carnahan. Roll call, please.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Carnahan?
Yes.
Mr. Hunley?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkening?
Yes.
Mr. Kapura?
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Mr. Kapura, was there a continuance for public responders tonight? This is a continuance of a public hearing, you didn't give the responders a chance tonight like last time.
Remonstrators?
Demonstrators?
We have another line, we have another item.
You forgot to let them speak last time, I just want to remind you next time.
I know. Do I open it up for responders?
You can.
Isn't he supposed to? It's still a continuance, I
It's
think.
already been done. You don't have to have public hearing every time you have it.
But every time they make comments, shouldn't we be able to re-address the right or wrong?
That's up to the chair with the gavel.
But this is continuance of a public hearing. Every time new statements are made, shouldn't we be able to reply, yes or no?
No.
Okay.
Thank you. No comment.
Thank you. Okay, item number 2. Request for extension for Rose Garden Unit 1 Performance Order Credit in the amount of $6,067,696.25 due to expire October 10th, 2024. Do we have a remonstrator, do we have a petitioner here?
It says 2025, not 2024.
This is 24.
2024.
Expires 2024.
I got an old one?
An old one, yeah.
Oh, okay. I got so many different agendas here.
That's all done.
Name and address, please.
Tom McSherry, Lennar Homes, 1700 East Gulf Road, Suite 1100, Schaumburg, Illinois, 60173.
Okay, we'd like to know what's going on.
Well, I understand, talking to Mr. Oliphant, I understand the board's, the commission's feeling that Lennar has just left town. I can assure you that is not the case. We have had some turnover. We've had some new faces, some people have retired, and I'm not using this as an excuse. I'm using this as an explanation. We have not forgotten about it. In the past month and a half, we have completed sidewalk extensions to be able to kind of fill the gaps on where the sidewalk has been. We've had contractors go out and perform some pre-punch work in anticipation to try to make the final turnover with Public Works a little bit easier. We do have items that are outstanding that we have given to our customer care department as well as the HOA management company. Completion of amenities such as our pergolas, our paving and seating areas, our common area landscape, aerators and diffusers in 2 out of the 3 ponds. We've got a regrading of Pond 2 overflow as well as the associated landscape restoration. All these items will be completed by December 1st. And when Mr. Oliphant gets back, we will continue the conversations about as-bills, not only for Unit 1, but also for Units 2 and Unit 3.
and then keep moving in with Public Works to be able to turn this over. So I know that this has been a long time coming. We have been here for a while, and I think that when I'm looking through some of the old emails in preparation for this, I'm a little ashamed of this. So I do offer my sincere apologies. We're not going to be extending this beyond this final extension. All of these will be complete, will be turned over, we will be out of maintenance periods. Whatever that takes, we are committed to make that happen.
Before October 10th of 2024?
No, with this extension, I believe
Okay,
the
well,
extended letter of credit.
That's what you want to extend it to?
No, the existing surety expires October 10th, 2024. We do have a new surety in place that extends it out to October 10th, 2025.
Okay.
And again, this is for phase one, and we also do have performance letter credits in place for unit 2 and for unit 3 as well, albeit a much smaller amount. The majority of the Rose Garden subdivision was included in this upfront phase one.
I believe you had two different ones. You have there's 2 or 3 different bonds.
Yeah, the only one that is up for expiration on October 10th is for phase one. We do have surety in place for phase 2, likewise for phase 3.
But for phase 1, are you gonna be able to finish everything for unit 1 by October 10th?
By next week, no.
And they're extending it till October 10th, 2025, you just...
No, they're not.
No?
We're gonna decide when they extend it.
Oh, okay.
They're not decided.
Where is the supplemental surety? Is that here in the town? Do we have a check? Do we have performance letter of credit?
Yes.
All of our surety is with People's Bank.
Oh, I know that. I know they're your local agent. I know all of that. I want to know where the surety is for this $6 million plus dollars. Phase 1.
With People's Bank.
Do we have a copy of the 2025? The new?
I'm looking for the town to have a copy of its surety.
I do not have original copies of the 2025. I am working with the bank to ensure that. That's with BMO. I have been in contact with them. The person who is going to get me the original was out of town. It's supposed to be out of town, or into town this week. I'm hoping to get the original from them.
Well, we can't hope. We're really on a tight deadline for October 10th for having that in hand.
So People's Bank has the original one and BMO has the new one?
BMO has the extension, yes.
We don't have the original document.
No, the
Peoples.
original for 2024 from Peoples I do have, yes.
Oh, you do have it?
Yes.
2024, we don't have the new one.
2020, again, through October 10th, you have the surety instrument here in hand.
Yes.
The original instrument.
Yes.
I just have a kind of a logistics question. How many items are there? There was a lot of items, and
I
they,
think
some of
it
them
was
were
like
some,
over 100.
some of them were small, some of them were large. You know, you drop an army of people on this, and Tim gets to work, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, trying to inspect it all, and so does Don. That's not gonna be cool.
No, that is not our intention.
Okay.
The first punch list that we have addressed an awful lot of the items. There are
Okay.
still some outstanding items, but no, we are not gonna throw an army of people at it, put any undue stress on staff at the town. I mean, I think
Good.
that we've had a pretty decent working relationship, and you know what? Our obligation is to be able to get it done. Once we get it done, when they inspect it, they inspect it.
Okay.
This has gone on for a while, and this is purely one-sided, so I'm standing here in front of you understanding that.
All right.
So you're talking about phase 1 now, you're gonna have done by December what?
We've got still outstanding items by December 1st that we're gonna have. Now, that does not include, the review of the as-built plans. I mean, this is gonna be something that's gonna go on between Lennar, between Seabell, and between Mackey. I don't know that those are gonna be done by December 1st. I would wanna have Don's input on that before I say any date, because there's gonna be a lot of review on his side as well.
And that's all for phase 1?
That's for phase 1, and we are going to do phase 2 and phase 3.
Who's drawing the as-bills?
Mackey, our consulting engineer. They will submit the as-bills, and then CBEL will review them. And
How long have they been drawing them?
Truthfully, I believe that they are done.
Well, you can't truthfully say that to us because we truthfully don't have them.
Okay.
And I'm sick and tired of Rose Garden being up here, phase one, what, 5 years ago? Is that when it was started, 5 years ago?
Probably, yeah.
No, you guys came in here with your hat in your hand, stood right up there, one of your big shots, and tried to moan to us that he had to get approval to build this, otherwise his land deal is going to fall through. If we would have taken 5 years, you guys would just be starting now. I'm not gonna listen to any of this BS anymore. I need phase one done, as-built and everything, by December 31st, 2024. Now, what do you got left on the other punch list?
Phase 2 and Phase 3 has not been generated by Public Works yet. We have gone through with our contractor and have done we call a pre-punch list, so that hopefully we have less things that Public Works will find and that need to be corrected. But this was in conjunction with Don for the as-built review for Unit 2 and Unit 3. He says there's a lot of time, there's a lot of effort that goes into that, so we have not had the list, I don't believe, for Unit 2 and Unit 3 generated yet. We can, I mean, we certainly can, and I would say that within the next 2 weeks, if those as-built plans have not been submitted for Units 2 and Unit 3, they will be. They'll be submitted for CBEL to review, and then we can start that process. And we will be committed to finish this with no gaps in performance. And I know you've heard it before, but I'm standing here before you.
No, but we haven't had anybody stand in front of us for a couple of years.
Yeah, I thank you for being here.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
The problem is we keep getting extensions and no one shows up, no one does nothing. So we're to the point where we're done giving extensions, we'll just pull the whole thing. I mean, what else is it gonna take for you guys to get serious and get the stuff done?
Well,
It's not fair for the people who bought the houses there.
I agree. All I can do is stand in front of you right now and tell you what our plan is. I really hope that we can continue working together. I think what we've done with staff, we've done fine. I know that we obviously have a very different opinion on that, but I'm committed to being able to finish all of this work and finish it now.
I'm impressed with the fact that somebody's here now, which we have never seen, like John said, in 2 years. That's a positive sign.
I can work out a frame of, I mean, if we want to work with CBEL or with the town, I mean, we can put milestones in and.
I think that's a great idea.
Items will be submitted and.
Because we don't want to discuss this in another year with a new guy.
No.
But I thought that's what a construction schedule was.
Okay.
Those are the stepping stones to completion. And now you want to give us another punch list schedule?
For any items that are outstanding, yes, I mean, I'll do whatever.
And how many items are outstanding? How many items are outstanding on the whole project?
I don't know. We have not received punch list for the subsequent phases. Those haven't been generated yet.
Well, how many items have you seen already? You've had punch lists given?
We've had punch lists that have been in excess of 100 comments. We've addressed a fair share of them. I don't know that we've got all of them. We still do have some conversation that was going back and forth. And then I will say, we had a pause in that conversation.
Well, what's your opinion of a fair share? Give us kind of a ballpark figure.
It's been over half of them that have been addressed. I mean, we also worked, for doing the final surface course, we went through, we did all the sidewalk restoration, we did all the sidewalk R&R, we did all the curb R&R, did the binder R&R, we did the crack sealing, and then installed the final surface course. So really, the remaining punch list items are going to be making sure that all the B boxes are keyable, make sure that valve boxes are to grade. I imagine we'll probably, it's been a while now, probably repaint fire hydrants, make sure that there's any storm grades, any sanitary manholes, anything that's to grade, make sure that that's all fine. But the majority of the heavy lifting has been done.
If you put a list together of milestones, and those milestones aren't met, can we impose fines on those?
No, but you can pursue the surety. It's the equivalent, constructively, it's the equivalent.
To get it done.
Right.
So,
So being the time, I mean, is this new letter of credit is in place? You're waiting to get the original copy to expire
It's a
on
one-year
October for a 1-year time frame. So if these guys change the time frame and it's only till the 10th, I mean, that's gonna throw a wrench into the whole.
I might as well go pull it tomorrow.
Right, I guess that's what I'm getting at. If you guys are gonna change the date from October 24th, then you may as well instruct Dave to go and pull it, because there's no way they can do a new one for a new deadline in a day, or in a...
well, to me, it seems, okay, I agree with that. So we have to leave it in place till October 10th, 2025. You know, but what gets me is that he wants a year extension to do 2 drawings and cut some grass. Who knows? I don't have a punch list. I don't know what he's doing.
Jim, why don't you let him go?
You know, and how much, when are your other letters of credit due?
I'm not sure of the dates of those, but they're staggered at various months of the year.
Can we extend it to like 6 months, May 16th, May 19th?
The only problem with that is that they've already got this set up with BMO, and that would have to be redone.
It is a 1 year.
Why don't you consider requiring Mr. McSherry to be back here in 30 days. Get with Tim and or Don, however it will work here internally, for the comparing the punch list for phase 1, and have a status report here in person, 30 days.
Oh, he's already got the letter of extension for...
You want him here for accountability purposes.
The letter of extension is in place already, right?
I think so. We're going to confirm that.
I will confirm tomorrow. I will get in touch with them and get an original copy.
So then we have to take action on that letter.
Yeah.
It's either take action on that letter or take action on pooling.
Well.
And if we don't know if it's in place...
If this gentleman came in here, us granting the extension could be contingent on him showing up here every 30 days?
Could.
For an update to walk through, to get through this list?
It could. And given the performance of the past 4 years, 5 years, it's understandable and defensible.
So today is the 2nd. How much time do we need to pull on that letter?
Oh, it's People's Bank. It's down the street. It's a few days, John.
2?
Oh, maybe 2 or 3 days.
2 or 3 days. Well, then I think we should probably make a motion to have a new letter of credit extended to October 10th, 2025, and if that isn't in place by Friday's enough time?
Monday's the 7th.
If it's not in place by Monday, then we pull.
Okay. Yeah,
So if we do that, we'll make a motion to pull this letter of credit on the 7th, you said?
7th is October 7th.
On the 7th of this month, unless the letter of credit is extended to October 10th, 2025.
By BMO.
Or whoever
Different bank.
their bank is, or whoever they're doing it with.
We'll check the sureties. We'll look at those and see wherever they're at.
But I think that's the way the motion should go. Then I also think we should throw into that, or another motion, that we want to see somebody from Lennar here Rose Garden every 30 days until they're done.
I understand what we've gone through, and if you want that to be every 2 weeks, I'll make the commitment to be here every single time you have a meeting.
No, I don't want it every 2 weeks.
just-
Then we're gonna become friends and we'll be playing golf together. I don't wanna be doing that.
I got a couple broken ribs, so I'm a few weeks away from even swinging the club.
But every 30 days, I think that's the way we should go. Do we have any objections to that, or?
No, sir. I'll make
Is
that.
that good, Dave?
That's good.
Jerry's making the motion.
Well, I can't make the motion.
Are you asking for one?
Yes, I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion, we extend the, the request for extension of Rose Garden Uniform Performance Letter of Credit of $6,067,696.25 be extended to 10/25 with the following contingencies. That someone's here every 30 days with an update, and that if the paperwork is not here by the end of business on 10/7/2024, for that assurance, that the original letter, performance letter of credit is drawn on, $6,067,696.25.
Everybody understand that motion?
Second.
Who seconded it?
Jim Hunley.
And a motion by Mr. Wilkening, seconded by Mr. Hunley. Roll call, please.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Carnahan?
Yes.
Mr. Hunley?
Yes.
Mr. Wilking?
Yes.
Mr. Kapar?
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
John, one last thing about this. The amount pulled may be less than the total amount of the surety, because the total amount of improvements needed to be made will be of less cost. That'll be a Don and a Tim itemization of what the amount is. So if there's $100 worth of remedial measures to be taken, for holding 1,000, we don't get to keep 900. We take and collect what we need.
To cover the cost.
Cover the cost, right.
And I didn't put it in my motion, but it would be nice to have some milestones.
Absolutely.
This is what we got, this is what we got that got done, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that clarification, but there will not be any pulling going on because of our performance.
Okay,
sounds good.
It will be done.
And can you let them know with the other letters of credit, we're not gonna keep extending them?
Absolutely.
Because if, keep list,
Not
keep happening.
probable.
Nope, understood.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for coming. Okay, where am I at here? Okay, any public comment on this special meeting?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Craig Broaders, 14513 Morris. I'm a little concerned on how to start my statement tonight because I'm afraid that whatever I say, you're going to shut me down tonight, John, and that's unfortunate because I have not done anything wrong. I stood in the back in the last meeting when you forgot to call for public responders. I remember when you asked Mrs. Hayduke to put in your notes to remind you to ask, and I did so back there. And out of the nicety, and I wanted to help you out. So I'm not angry with you, John. I know your heart is in the right spot. I always have known that from the day I met you. But I'm a little concerned because when you start telling the public to be quiet and you don't hear them, then this is where we are today. This is why we have the problems we're in today. A lot of these problems that Chuck talked about left over from the last board and the last people sitting over here, a lot of those problems come up because nobody's listening. Things are being changed on the fly. I think to quote Jim, we're making it up as we go. I would like to just ask the board.
Commission.
I would like to ask the board.
Commission.
Pardon me?
Commission.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I would like to ask the commission, thank you. Prior to, I've gone back in my notes, August 7th was when the first time this new idea of, let me read it off. A developmental commitment contract and final plat approval. Now, I looked through my 3 years of notes. I've never seen that ever used. Have you guys ever used a developmental commitment contract and final plat approval? Have you ever created this before? Is this the first time?
I think they're two separate things, but
Well,
they have to go together.
I'm sorry, Jerry, let me finish. I'll separate the two. I do realize now that you say that they're two separate things. But let's just stay on the developmental commitment contract. I can't find one anywhere in 3 years of history at these meetings, as you all know I've been to them. I looked through my notes, I looked at all, and I have them all for 3 years, and I can't see that title ever used before. Is this the first time we're creating one of these developmental commitment contracts?
No, we see those in our stuff.
Hold on, I'm talking about with a petitioner.
For example, Store Safe, I have two of those. One's got a lot of red marks, and one's got a lot fewer red marks.
Jerry, you're misunderstanding. I'm asking you,
I am
prior to
misunderstanding.
Store Safe, have you ever written a developmental, it's 3 words, it's hard to remember, the developmental commitment contract. Now, this is taking place in place of public hearing, pulling variances, applying for variances, being able to let the public speak on these variances. Because part of the problem of a developmental commitment contract is you guys, his lawyer, our lawyer, administration, Don Oliphant, these folks are all working together, drawing up a contract with all the developmental variances that we should be hearing about as public. That's why we have the BZA. That's why we have all these board meetings that we come to. So that way, when you create this whole brand new thing, this developmental commitment contract, you guys are drawing up all the variances in this commitment. You're agreeing upon what you're going to take and what you're going to give. And everything I've heard up till now so far is I just can't understand this. This gentleman has claimed he would just follow along with the original deal, work in the back first, and then come forward. He's already said that. He's committed to doing the things that you guys could just go ahead and say yes, because that's what the rules have been granted for that property. And to change everything now and then create a developmental commitment contract between two lawyers with no public input. And then the other thing is, I think he said it best, Jim said it best. For all the time, effort, and money that goes into this on his part, on our part, on the town's part, I'm sorry. Yeah. Real hard to say no at that point, isn't it? But a whole lot of talk, a whole lot of agreements, a whole lot of negotiation, but unfortunately, we don't know about any of it. Now, I remember talking with DBG in the parking lot, and you were with me, Jerry, when he talked about we would be able to read this document before it was ever voted on. In the last meeting, they were trying to get you to vote on the document, still be redlined by our lawyer. I think what we need to do is if we just follow our own rules, I think we could really pull ourselves out of the hole here. When you start writing developmental contract agreements behind closed doors and give the whole house away to somebody that, for what reason, I don't know, he's already said he would do it the right way. What is this project? Why this project that we're ready to throw all of our rules out the window and write up a developmental commitment contract for the first time ever in Cedar Lake history? What is so important about this project, building the front building first, knowing that there's no fire hydrants for a mile around? You keep putting more storage on that small piece of property. One building starts, he said it best, it's a 3-hour wall. Well, if the fire department don't have 3 hours worth of water in the truck, 3 hours don't mean anything to a fire, that just keeps burning. There's so many things here that the public don't know about this property. For you guys to develop a contract behind closed doors, I see why we have so many problems. I wish to God you guys would just follow your own rules, vet these projects properly, and stop trying to rewrite the book all the time.
And I wish you would quit trying to rewrite our job.
No, sir,
No,
I'm telling you what your rules are in your book.
I'm not taking your BS every
No BS,
meeting.
sir. It's all true to you. I don't bullshit. Never do I bullshit. Now, I'm sorry that you're upset, John. I am personally sorry, and I take it personal that I've upset you. I feel bad. But that's not my intent, sir. That's not my intent. My intent is to show that if you're not following the rules, we wind up with all these problems. And the public winds up paying for it. None of you seven do. Out of your taxes, baby. But we gotta keep paying for the mistakes made here and made in every other board. It's not like I'm making it up, John. Come on. You've heard Dave say how many times tonight? Let's wait, we're in trouble. Let's wait, we're in trouble. It all starts here, guys. It's your decision. Please, help us.
Dave, the rail side is considered a PUD.
Yeah, Jerry, I appreciate you asking that.
So there seems to be terms that are just overlapping each other. Rail side is a PUD.
It is.
And that is also a developmental agreement.
It is. And there's a separate agreement that is appended to the zoning ordinance for that project. The same applies to Pinecrest. The same applies to Ultima, the Ultima project, COPD, I think it's called PUD. There's another one.
So we don't use the word PUD with the store safe project because
It's a whole separate entity, Jerry. You guys are making a contract between two lawyers, and you're...
Hang on. The developmental agreement phrase, Terry, is real similar to a PUD. I'm asking why is store safe, why is it called a developmental agreement and not a PUD?
Because that's what the developer proposed.
A development, but it's the same as a PUD.
No, because they're working behind closed doors. Two lawyers are working, they're not here doing it, Jerry.
But the details, Terry, of that are the fine after the fact, the fence, all those details that are here.
But Jerry...
Are you suggesting that
Jerry,
agreement...
nobody's seen the final document. We don't know what the final document is. You said yourself tonight.
We have not seen the final
document. No, nobody
document.
has. But then again, we were almost gonna pass it tonight, just on a whim. I'm just saying, no, there was talk about giving them the approval to put it on, to get it approved the way it is, and then we're waiting on, what I'm saying, Jerry, is I think you guys have rules, and the reason I say the rules, John, because I've read them pretty well. I don't forget, I was here 3 years ago, taking it up the rear end by this government on this side that is no longer here. And I read them rules to make sure I knew what I was talking about. So when I do speak on the rules, John, I'm pretty clear on them. And I don't bullshit. I'm sorry, sir, I don't. I don't mean to be mean, and I don't mean to be angry, and I know me and you butt heads a lot. But I think it's because we both have the same passion. We're both trying to protect our town. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Yes, Tim. Sorry.
I got one thing. This is about the Domino's over there by the roundabout. They did get the retaining wall in on the, call it east side of the property. I don't know if anybody has seen that, but the 8-foot proposed fence on top of that retaining wall is gonna look like a prison campus in my mind. Right now, the eve of that lower level of the house is 56 inches from the top of that wall, so a 6-foot fence would be a good 1 foot over the roof line of that house. I don't know what your thoughts is being the adjoining property owner, but I feel like at this point in time, I mean, the fence isn't up, but, I mean, I don't know your guys' feelings, but that 8-foot fence is gonna be quite obnoxious.
I have a couple questions. One is, the wall only goes so far, and it looks like north of the north end of the wall, the problem starts all over again. Is there gonna be any more wall, or what's there is it?
What's there is it. The rest is gonna be just the raised curb, so the water's gonna be...
So there's gonna be there's gonna be this dirt wall onto the adjacent property?
No. No, the wall goes to grade, and then now the curb will pick up at the wall, and there'll be a back curb and the water, you know, I mean, that'll connect the two walls together. So basically, there didn't need to be a wall because of the grade now, so the curb will connect the two walls together and keep the water and everything on that side. But my concern
Can
is...
they put a big planter box on top of it, put some arborvitaes in there or something? Instead of a fence?
Well, I mean, I guess, a 6-foot fence would look okay, but to me, I mean, I measured from the top of the wall to the top of the roof is 58, let's just say, you know, it's 5 foot. So, 6-foot fence comes about to the bottom of the window on the high part of the house, so 8 foot is just gonna look, I mean, when you're driving around the roundabout and you look at that, it's gonna be, I mean...
Well, I agree with you, but screening is screening.
No, right, I mean, I just don't know what...
I mean, if you got light shining through your upper windows, you know, it's not about the present owners, it's about the next owners.
Right, but I don't see how lights are gonna shine through a window being, I mean, lights don't shine
Well,
out.
we have proposed an 8-foot fence.
That's what's on the plan.
8 foot on top of the 2-foot retaining wall.
So the retaining wall...
So if you look, if the 6-foot fence were to be put there, no light, on top of the wall, no lights from the businesses shining into the home?
The light's not on there, so.
Well, my point is, will the
I guess I
6-foot
would
fence
say,
cover will the 6-foot fence cover the window openings?
Well, I asked Don about the lighting, and he said it's a special kind of lighting where you can't see it through the windows.
And there's no light trespass or no, I mean, car lights are...
Yes, but you're still gonna have a glow. You're still gonna, I understand, but you're still gonna have a glow.
Yeah.
If the 6-foot fence is not gonna cover the window openings, then you're still gonna have...
Some light.
You're gonna have something you might not like.
An 8-foot fence is not gonna cover the window openings either. I guess is what I'm saying, and it just seems to me like looking at that view from either way, the adjoining property, the roundabout, anywhere, that wall is up there pretty tall, and when you put an 8-foot fence on top of it, it's gonna almost look like a barracks. I'm just worried about I mean, and again, he's actually contemplating getting the fence on top of the wall, and then going all the way down, you know, to the top of the other wall, so there's a fence all the way along the property line of the whole deal, you know, now, so, I don't know, I mean, I kinda talked to him about if he would be, you know, favorable, or to come and ask for a 6-foot fence only, or if you guys were, or you just wanna leave it as it is and move on. I don't think anybody, I guess just seeing it in the final product before it's done, it seems like now would be the time to make it 2 feet lower than later, I guess, so.
I'll walk there with you.
Okay, and on the side, I mean, from Marie's side of the deal, the wall is already 6 foot tall from her side, so then you put an 8-foot fence on top of that, it's pretty...
It's a privacy fence?
Yeah, it's gonna be a privacy fence. And this is just something, I mean, I just brought it up on myself by seeing the situation now. I mean, we've been kind of keeping an eye on it, but this is something I thought would be wise to revisit before it's up and we say, wow, that's pretty tall.
Supposed to be a vinyl fence.
Yeah.
That's what the plan says.
So I don't know, I mean, I just wanted to bring it up to you guys, I didn't know what your thoughts were, leaving
It's gonna be a vinyl fence, so as long as it's higher than the window, sorry, John.
That's all right, I'd say we're probably open to suggestions, you know, but sitting here, I can't really visualize it. Here's the wall, and then you're gonna put this up here?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what the plans say.
How about we cut a couple windows in?
What?
No, I understand, yeah, I understand, you know, so maybe there is a better option. You know, at the time we approved and looked at everything.
No, for sure, and again, I don't think this is foreseeable at all prior. I mean, until the wall was done and looking at it is when I'm seeing it now, and I mean, on the picture, the wall looks like, you know, it's on top of the wall and you're looking at numbers and grades, but you don't see reality, so.
What kind of action would we have to take to change it? To a 6 instead of an 8? What would be the process?
I don't know if you guys would have to formally approve a 6-foot wall instead of an 8-foot wall. I guess it's been assumed, there's really no, it's been assumed by all of us by looking at the plans that 6-foot wall or the 8-foot wall was measured from the parking lot surface, not from the Samara's yard, because obviously the wall's already as close to that height now just to get to hold the dirt back.
If a I'm gonna call it a privacy fence, if a privacy fence is not higher than those window openings, whatever size it is, I think it's a bad idea. Privacy fence needs to be higher than the windows in that house.
Would he be open to putting up, what are they, 10-foot sections? Put up a 10-foot, 6-foot high section, and right next to it, put up
I'm sure you could put something up there, at least makeshift, that would be the height.
to show what it would look like, and see how terrible.
Like I said, a 6-foot fence would be 1 foot over the lower roof of the house. And it would be up to the bottom of the window on the second to 2-story section, it would be right up to the bottom of the window. So even if it was an 8-foot, on the taller window that's on that side, even if it was an 8-foot fence, it'd be to the center of the window, which, like I said, I looked at the same thing you're saying.
Well, if he starts in the front with 6, and then he goes up to 8, you don't wanna drop back down.
Well, again, looking at the walls in reference to the house and the road and everything, I just feel like having a 16 or 14-foot tall thing from the lower side is gonna be...
So your recommendation is that it be a 6-foot fence?
I just think a 6-foot fence is adequate for the
So
situation.
what do we need to do to have that happen with his recommendation?
Take 2 foot off.
A vote out here. Take a vote out here? Take a vote out here. Can we do that now?
Can we see both options first?
Right, no, and I think that it's not something that needs to be decided tonight. I just wanted to get your input to see if I should talk to Marie and let them look at it and kind of move forward, or you guys just say leave it as it is?
I think once you and Marie look at it and get us some more information, if we're gonna deviate from the original one, the property owner needs to sign off saying that they're good with the change.
And have it on the next agenda.
Yeah.
We'll look at it, and I'll meet Marie out there, we'll check it out, and again, I just wanted to see if you guys wanted to pursue it or not. That's the only reason I would bring it up now. At the next meeting in 2 weeks, we can, whatever action, if you want to take any or not, it doesn't really matter.
What color was the fence gonna be, do you know?
Color?
Yeah, color.
I thought it was white vinyl.
I did too.
White? Really?
I have no clue, I just know it was...
How about beige? How about beige?
That probably looked nice.
Yeah, it would look a lot nicer.
Would be, comparable to the brick.
I can ask maybe his friend, I don't have any idea of the fence color.
Okay.
I don't know, did you ask him about white?
No, but I thought it was white on the plan, not sure. But I have a big concern though, because in the middle house, there's I think he's 4 or 5-year-old boy and a girl that's 8. And they tore down the fence. There's this big hole, like 10 feet or whatever, water at the bottom and rocks. No concern whether or not this kid's gonna go in there and fall in there.
Well, Tim will have to address that when he's out with you and the tape measure.
Well, then it sounds like Tim and Maria will take a look at it and report back to us on the next, in 2 weeks, put it on the agenda, and, we can, decide on that, but I don't have any objections if it makes it work better.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Angie.
Hi, Angie Michaelis, 12806 Lee Court. Since we were talking about it, I have a question regarding the roof on that Domino's building. It's really super tall. Is there like a height that it's supposed to be, or can go up to without?
25 feet.
Is it higher than 25 feet? Because the roof, I'll tell you why I'm mentioning it, just because where it is, like I used to be able to see the lake, and right where it's at, it just covers the lake. Number one. Number two, all the cars that go about on the roundabout when the lights are on, it reflects off the back of that and hits into my living room. I just wanted you guys to know that.
It reflects off of what? The roof?
Back of the building.
Oh. But
Yeah,
it's not...
and it just seems like, because at first I was all excited, I'm like, yes, and then they added an extra 6-8 feet to make it look like a castle or something, and then that's what kind of messed it up. You know, the corners.
Parapet walls,
Would
yeah.
you, Tim, would you double check this?
No, I'm just, it was a
Yeah, double check
question.
the height.
Well, maybe if you can't see the lake.
Yeah, but is it
you
where it's
ought
supposed to
appeal
be?
your taxes, because if you're on the lake, you get the highest taxes.
mean-
If you got a lake view, you're the second highest tax. If you
Well,
don't
then
have
they
lake
cleared
view,
out,
you-
then they cleared out the bushes in the back, and then I could see it on each side, so I was really excited about that. I even thanked them, I said, thank you for clearing out the shrubbery. But anyway, it's pretty high, in my opinion. I probably would be the only person that would be affected by that. But thank you, I just was wondering about the height.
We'll double check it, but I know it's less than, I don't know.
Just double check it.
But I know it's not 25 feet tall.
Okay.
Check the plan,
Thank you.
please.
We'll check it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other comments? Any other comments?
Thank you.
I have one more thing.
One more comment?
Mr. Roshan, would you, pull together a definition of, developmental agreement and the difference between that and the PUD?
Well, there's no difference.
There is no difference.
I think it's semantics.
Okay, all right, that's what I
I
thought.
know all the code sections,
Okay,
I think it's semantics, that's all it is.
and the
Tomato,
verbiage is
tomato.
interchangeable.
all right. Okay, that's all I have.
Okay. Nothing else?